Hello and welcome back to Stampin' on the Hill. I'm Deb Keyes. Today I have another sketch for you and how I chose to use the sketch. Before we get into that, I wanted to mention that today is June 11th, 2025. Some of these products are no longer available when you're watching. Please challenge yourself to use some other products. Even if they're not available, even if the products are available, still challenge yourself to use some other products that you have on hand. That's the sketch that's important. I also want to know if you want half off your next project. Stampin' Up! Right now is having a BOGO sale. So if you buy one, you get one half off. And this is off of all sweets and sweet products. Watch on Friday. I'm going to do another video and I'll post it on Friday this week of more details about how that all works and how to get the most for your money. But without further ado, let me show you the sketch that we're going to use today. So this is a sketch, and it was hard to actually do the graphics for this sketch because it looks like layers on top of layers, and what it really is a frame over the DSP. So let's see here. So the DSP is this lined patterned paper, and then the gray and the white is actually a frame over the top of the DSP. So the inside that looks like more DSP is really the back DSP showing through. So I know I wasn't sure exactly how to depict it. So let's just jump on down and, oops, my mouse is in the wrong spot, and show you what I've got going on. I'm going to be using the Layers of Beauty stamp set and dies. So let's see if you can get them all in the frame here. And I'm using Stampin' Blends to color my picture. So I'm using the dark and the light of Daffodil Delight. I've got the lighter, dark Petal Pink and light Old Olive. All right, so we're going to be using those. And I've got the beautiful Bokeh 6x6 DSP. And what I love about this particular set of DSP, I've got all these scraps in the front, like you all know, that I collect because you always use them for something. What I like about this DSP is that there's more than just 2 sheets of each one. So there are fewer patterns than some 6x6 packs, but the fact that there's more of each, let me put this down a little bit farther. The fact that there's more of each one is appealing to me, because then I usually have enough for all my class participants without having to buy a second pack. So we are going to be using the blue that was in the back. So starting out, we have a card base. I'm using thick basic white. This is 8.5 by 5.5. It is not scored yet, so we'll score that at 4.25. I've got a piece of regular basic white that is 4 by 5.25. My DSP is the same size, 4 by 5.25, and we'll choose which side to use. I haven't decided yet. My Old Olive frame that I chose to use is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, which is just going to be a little bit bigger than my other basic white, which is 3 by 4. So these are going to layer together with just a hint of a frame on the outside. And then they're going to go on top of this. We're going to cut this frame out of both of these. So what I chose to do, let's get this out of the way first. Bring in the cutter, move this aside, bring in the cutter, and let's do, sorry, had to put my glasses on. 4.25. We're going to score this at 4.25. And we will grab the phone folder. I like to, after I score it, I like to even up my edges like this and hold them tight. while I score. Helps keep it from getting a little kittywampus there. All right, so we're going to set this aside for now. This is going this way. Okay, I've got my other two pieces of this. I'm going to, for this, what I did was I cut a piece because my inside diameter, if you look at the graphic, the inside diameter is 2.5 by 3.5. So I ended up just cutting a piece of scratch paper at that size. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark it on here. I have glue in my hand because I was going to glue it together. But let's mark it here first. So with a pencil, and I'm just going to make light marks across here and here on all four corners. Can't even see my corners because I'm out of the frame. Is that better? Yes. Here and here, here and here. This is just going to give me an idea, because working with eighths and it was less confusing to just make myself a little template. Put it that way. All right, so I'm going to glue this together. And I'm going to glue kind of on the outside. Here we go with the glue again. Me and fighting with the glue. This is an ongoing battle, isn't it? I'm going to try to get the glue, if it'll come out, on the very outside, because I'm going to cut that frame out of the middle of it. Okay. Well, maybe it's time for new glue. All right, so I finally got it to work. So I'm going to glue this, making sure that I'm leaving about the same amount of space all the way around. And then we're going to cut it by using the guides that are in. I have to move this so I can see it. Sorry. Let's try this way first. So I'm lining this mark up with my gutter here, okay? And then I'm going to punch this down and go up to that mark. And then back down to this mark. A little bit more. A little bit more that way. All right. And then we'll go down. Again, I'm lining up my guide in here. I'm pushing really hard too, because I'm going through 2 layers of cardstock. And this doesn't look right. That's better. Okay, and up. So I can use this and go up to this line, which is kind of my guide. And then coming down, I'm kind of playing with it until I get to what appears to be the bottom line there. And then lining this one up. And again, a line to a line. So this is going to be our frame. I'm also going to just erase those little pencil marks. In some of the cases, they're not even going to be seen, but I think we're done with the cutter for now. So I'm going to get this out of the way. And so looking at it, trying to straighten it out or whatever, I think I'm going to use it like this. Okay. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? So we're going to glue down our DSP to the front. And I decided I'm using this color or this side. I forgot to even ask. I forgot to even turn it over to see which I liked better. But I kind of decided before we started that I liked this better. So, all right, this aside, the frame aside for now. So the frame, you can see how the frame's going to work out. And then we're going to do a little stamping here. I'm going to bring in, and I've got the biggest stamp from the Layers of Beauty. I'm going to just ink this up with Memento black ink. I'm looking to see, sometimes these photopolymer stamps, because of the residue when in the manufacturing process, sometimes there's residue on them that like makes the ink sort of pool or puddle or what's the word I'm looking for, instead of actually inking it nicely. So it doesn't matter which way you do this because we're going to end up cutting it anyway. So as long as most of it fits, we're going to stamp this, give it a good press, make sure we got it pretty good. Okay, then we're going to start coloring this. And what I chose to do is will always start with the latest color. I'm going to start with, I know it sounds silly now because I just said the lightest color, but we're going to start with Dark Daffodil Delight in the bullet end of this. And we're going to just start outlining. Let's start with this little one because I'm not going to do the whole thing on this part of the video. Just start outlining the petals. It's nice that the graphic artists at Stampin' Up! Give us these lines just for this purpose so that we can use this for shading. That's enough of that one. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my lighter color. I'm going to use the brush tip of this, and I'm going to pull the color away from the edges so that those stay a little bit darker for shading purposes. And this doesn't have to be perfect, okay? It's okay if there are some lighter white spots left in there. I also used the dark petal pink to do you know what else I did? I wanted to put some yellow centers in the flowers, and I would go ahead and do them all, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea. And then I used the petal pink to go ahead and do the petals of this kind of flower. These looked kind of like daisies to me, but I just wanted a little bit of color. So I thought, and I really wanted the roses to be yellow. Then what I did is I went through and just colored the leaves and the vines, if you will, the stems or whatever. I colored these in with just the light old olive. And then I went back through, color them in like this. Then I went back through, even still with my fine point, and I added a little bit extra. So there's a couple different ways you can do the shading on this. All right. But instead of watching me color, I have one done. So here we go. This one's all done. We're going to bring in the die that goes with this. Oh, and you know what else I did? I already cut out, I used this particular die, and I cut a couple of pieces of old olive out with it. So I pre-did that for us. Let's bring in Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And as usual, we're going to use the number 1, the number 2, this number 3. And when I'm using my bottom cutting plate like this, I always, I swap it. So I use the same bottom plate, but I flip it over and I use it this way for a while, and then I flip it and use it this way for a while. So that's why it looks like it's upside down. So this is going to go this way. Nope. This way. And I'll line it up in here, and I'm going to use just a little piece of washi tape to make sure it doesn't shift while we're going through. And maybe I'll use one on this side too. There we go. And it shifted because I've got glue on my finger. Nice, Deb. Oh, yeah. Some days it's really hard being me, isn't it? The glue doesn't work, and then once you get the glue to work, it gets on your fingers and gets all over the place. All right. Anybody else have that trouble? And then we're going to use our top plate number 3 again. Run this through. Move this out of the way. And we've got our plates going on. These out of the way. And pull away the negative parts and get our washi tape out of the way. Actually, I think we're done using this washi tape for a while. So what I'm going to do with this now is put it on my frame, and I'm going to kind of guess where I want it. And we're going to cut this away, so bear with me here while I'm kind of guesstimating where we're going to put this. I kind of want it like this, I think. So this part isn't even going to show. Maybe it should go up a little bit more. Yeah, let's do it like that. All right, so let's put from about here down all the way over to here. We can always add a little bit more if we need to. Move this out of the way. And we had it about here. All right. So once we have that tacked down, I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to cut it. See what it looks like this. Yep. I'm going to cut it along this edge. You could use your trimmer for this as well. This is working. Alrighty. So now we have what looks like this kind of a frame in there. And I was also going to add some of these in here somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly, but I will. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to bring in some mini dimensionals. They're smaller than regular dimensionals. And we're just going to bring in a few of these and put them on the back of our frame. Easy for me to do. Man, me and adhesives just aren't getting along today, are we? I think this one peeled. I think these are kind of fairly old. And I think it peeled the paper right off of it. Did. Darn thing. That's better. Little left-handed action. It's not my style, but you know. Put them in the corners. And I also want to do kind of one in the middle. And I could bring in some bigger ones. Maybe I will bring in some bigger ones to make sure that my flower stays lifted. That's probably enough. All right. We're going to pull these off. Not the whole thing, just the papers. Who knew that they would get dry or something, right? They must. All right. Wow, what a tedious process. Okay, Now this is going to go here, kind of in the middle. I'm looking around to see if I'm really kind of centering it up right. And then I want these in there somewhere. Maybe I'll just glue them right down in the inside. So I'm only giving just a little touch of glue here and there. We'll add these in here. And another one. Wait, I made 3 because I was planning to do 3, but we'll see how it goes. And let's add another one. Let's go this way. Well, I want to make sure that it doesn't go outside of my card limit here, so this might end up being, because we don't want it to not fit in the envelope. That works. Okay, so that's cute. Let's see. Also, we were going to, I had another little piece of cardstock, I thought, that I forgot about. And we're gonna stamp a greeting. And for the greeting, I ended up just getting a piece of, or a thing from the Blooming Phrases that says celebrate, or here it is, celebrate. And then I'm using happy anniversary again from the Layers of Beauty. And I guess I'm just going to use this piece and then we'll cut it up. So we're going to make this black. And because I forgot to bring my other piece of label in, I'm actually using the inside that we cut out, which is fine. Let's go this way because I'm going to cut it off. Not that that matters, I guess. Let's see. Celebrate. And then on the inside, we're going to stamp happy anniversary. And see how I blobbed up the ink in there? So I want to make sure that I don't press too hard down on my card. Actually, it looks like that is pooling again. And I only just set it down gently. Yep, that works. Okay. Oops. Close that up so I don't stick my fingers in it. Bring the cutter back in. Give this a trim about here. And we need a little bit more. And I don't want it so long. We're going to take a piece of linen thread that I just had at my fingertips and I can't find. Here it is. We're going to take a piece of this, and I like to try to straighten it out a little anyway. When it gets too close to the roll, it ends up being really curly. We're going to make a big bow. I want it bigger than that. Loopy bow. And we're going to put it on with a glue dot on the back. So using my glue dots, I find the next one. No, this isn't right. It's way too big on that side. All right. Give it a squeeze here. All right, glue dot here to pick it up right from the project, right from the paper. And I'm going to put it on the back side of my project like that. All right. And then we're going to add this. It's still a little long. I didn't want it this long. Let's try cutting it off again. Oops. All right, let's try this one. I'm gonna put it with the edge here. Maybe I'll just go this way with it and put it off the edge a little bit on both sides. And I'm just gonna, actually, I'm gonna put this whole thing down with glue dots because I really don't want it to be any more elevated than what it is. Let's see, where am I gonna go with this? So I can put a glue dot here and a glue dot here right next to my bow. So I've got one on this side and one next to the bow here. We're going to move this over this way. Here we go. So there's your happy anniversary card. Hopefully that all worked okay. My glasses on, which means they're not holding my hair up. My hairstylist calls my glasses my hair accessory because it's like the best thing that holds up my hair, or just glasses, sunglasses, whatever, my cheaters, whatever they are. She says, "Oh, you've got your hair accessory in again." Yeah, that's the only one that stays in my hair. It's so thick. Okay, so I wanted to let you know before we leave that the June bundle of the month, if you're coming to class, or even if you're not coming to class, the June bundle of the month that I'm using is textured notes. And the July bundle, in case you wanted to take advantage of the BOGO sale, the July bundle that I'm going to be using is Cheers and Sips. And they both of those bundles qualify for the BOGO sale. So if you wanted to plan ahead and are in the market for both of those, then please do. You get one at half off anyway. I would love it if you would join us either virtually or in person for class. The June class is, I believe, the 16th this month, and they're always the third Monday of the month. I have 2 class times, 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So we would love to see you in person. And if you can't join us in person, there's always a virtual available option. So put the link in the description for the newsletter because the newsletter has all of the details, and that's the easiest way to get all of the details. Otherwise, Facebook is your other best bet. Until next time, thanks for watching.